Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
What's up, people? I still lost my voice, but I can't step away. This was big. This episode. Mayor at Kingstown. Mayor at Kingstown. This will go down in history, people. This series, this season, is one of the darkest shows you will ever watch. This is bananas. You guys know. You know what I'm talking about. I can't understand why this show is not being talked higher up with all the major outlets. No one's talking about this. Yeah, Jeremy's got some drama in his real life. No one cares. We're talking about this show. This show is depressing, is dark, it's beautifully filmed. The storytelling is out there. And everything that's happened this season has bumped it to my favorite. Season 2 was my favorite. I was like, oh, I love season 2. Everything that happened at the prison. I mean, it was just like, it's like the meme with the guy eating popcorn at the theater. It's like every episode. I couldn't wait. You know, but damn, this season, oh man, the hits keep coming. They keep coming. And we have one episode left. But real quick, my name is Adam Vale, senior editor over at thekoalition.com. I'm joined by editor-in-chief Richard Bailey Jr., who's remote. And he's still tuned in for this. Thank you, Rich.
Oh, yeah. The show is outstanding. Definitely dark and depressing, but a very good show.
Yeah, you know, we got people tied, other members of the channel that they know. They said it. Yeah, this is a dark show, but it's good. It's good dark. It's not cheesy dark, like, oh, they're just killing for the sake of it. Oh, they're just trying to get a reaction. Man, they throw so many curves at us, and they keep throwing curves. You know, let's just get into this episode. But real quick, everybody, thank you for the comments. Go ahead, put more. We're going to have to talk about this. A lot happened here. Just when you think it's over, we have one more episode, and then we still got more hits happening at the end of this episode. What the hell? But, hey, we find Robert, right? Case closed. Dude is dead. Everything, there goes that. So RB said we were talking, like, oh, maybe he sneaks out, and that becomes an issue. Nope. Dude is dead. Okay, that's fine. You know, Mike meets with Evelyn, says, hey, here you go. You know, Robert's dead. There goes that. Don't need to worry about it. So can you get Kyle out now? Can we do this? Because that was the whole thing. Your case was on this dude, and he's dead. I was like, well, what works on? I still need something. I'll get you Frank. And then we'll move on from there. So you cool with that? And they're like, okay. Because think about this. This was all because of Evelyn trying to get Robert. That Kyle was in prison. A lot of this goes back on Evelyn. The whole thing with Tracy was like, I'm sorry about Tracy. I was hoping that Mike would look at it. I was like, yo, this is all on you. She's dead because of you. You put Kyle in prison because of dumb shit that Robert did. You know, it's you. It's you. I wish that brick, you know, I mean, not me. I'm just saying for Mike, show the emotion. Maybe that'll trigger something for her, because she plays that role in the show where it's like she's there to represent the good, but then all the stuff going on with Kyle. Come on now, she knew. I mean, he even said it like multiple times. People are trying to kill him, and then now he's trying to harm himself. So, yeah. What did you think of all of that?
Well, yeah, I must say, I'm disappointed that the Robert thing didn't go in a different direction. It made sense because, you know, Ian gets out free and clear of everything. And I believe there was some comments saying that, yeah, I bet that he does get out of this. So so Ian is free and clear. But we are going to see what happens with him moving forward, because what happens later in the episode. But, yeah. But definitely Evelyn is to blame, because all this was a plan to take down Robert and Ian. Well, now that Robert is out the picture, it made sense for them to go ahead and let's get Kyle out of there immediately.
Yeah, just get him out. So then we jump over. We got Frank. You know, Mike meets up with Frank over at the train yard. They start talking. He says, listen, I'm sorry about, you know, what's going on. I just lost my sister-in-law. He's like, I'm sorry, I just lost my best friend. Some coward shot him, while he's walking to his car. Mike playing dumb. He's like, oh, this is horrible. This is horrible. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna burn this town. I need to find out who did this. And he says, let me find him. Let me deal with that. I'll take care of it. I'll find him for you. This is my job. Again, back to the job. It's like, man, this must be one of those undercover government jobs. It's like on the book, someone's paying him, but he's listed as like office clerk, but the dude is doing some serious work here. But there was a cool little audio line. I had to grab this.
Was it a natural death?
Natural death?
Uh-huh.
That doesn't happen here, Frank.
Yeah, there is no natural death on this show. Maybe Carney's dad might have a natural death, or he could have had a heart attack seeing his kid murdered. We don't know. We never revisit the dad, sitting there in the living room watching the Red Wings game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, but this is interesting that he's setting things up the way he is, because then right after this, Mike calls Lamar and he says, all right, you did your part. We're getting things situated. I squared things up and cleared up your mess. Bunny thinks that all is good because you made good so you can go back to work as normal, and the whole Frank situation we deal with. So everything is good. You did it. Yay. Right. That's it. Everything is good. We jump over to Hobbs. Right. Hobbs. What was it? I think he also said he was going to meet up with him. He told me, he said, later on, we'll talk about a spot where to meet or something like that.
Yeah.
Right. So I was like, okay, cool. You sure? How can I trust you? You can't trust anybody here. What the hell? What do you mean? How can you trust him? Right. We see Hobbs giving a speech over at the prison, telling everybody, yeah, things aren't great, but working with law enforcement, we're going to try to get things situated. Torres quit, he resigned. And, it's like, hey, it is what it is. Hey, Breen, come over here. We got to talk. I heard about this excessive force with some of the inmates. Torres told me on his way out what you did. He said, really? Is it, we're going to bring it? Yeah, we're bringing it up. And she brings up something that we weren't sure that she knew, but she knows everything. So she knew of all the stuff that he did at the women's prison. Mm-hmm. And she said, like, come on, with your history of all this, you're lucky you even have a job and you're not in one of these cells. So I'm putting you on leave duty, right? She said that you head to the armory. Really? The dude you just demoted that's got all these problems, you put him with the guns. What I mean? It's like, give him like, I don't know, send him into the records office, to do paperwork, something boring or something. You don't put him with guns while he's pissed. So think about you loading up this damn warden, damn inmate. What I mean? It's once that happened, I knew it. I was like, something's going down.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that. You can't do that. Right. We see a quick scene with Cindy. She's doing her little roll call down with the inmates walking around. She sees that Kyle is just curled up and he's not moving. And she's like, hey, you need to move. I need to make sure you're okay. And he sort of does like a little thing, but things aren't looking good for him. And at this point, still, I'm thinking he's not making it out. At this point, what were you thinking about this?
Oh yeah, because he they said he tried to harm himself. I figured he was, and he kept I guess he was still chewing the gum or whatever. It's the stuff that Merrill had gave him before earlier in the season. So I didn't know if that was going to play into it, but yeah, I didn't think he was going to survive. I thought something was going to happen at that point.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, I was getting nervous here, and my hands getting all clammy. I'm like, oh, this is when it's a good show. People, again, put a like, a comment. It's not just for us. It's because we got Paramount that watch. They're keeping eyes on this. We want another season. And maybe not here, but maybe they can go to another part of Kingstown or do something. But I mean, this show needs some respect. It definitely needs some respect. It's pissing me off already because yes, we know it's good. We know it's a dark good. It's not something you want to show your family during the holidays. Say, hey, you want to watch a good show? Come on, let's put this Kingstown on, and watch the kids cry. No, but when it comes to serious drama, this is it. This is serious drama here. So then we get a quick scene with Breen. He heads to the armory. Guy, he's all pissed off about it. The other guy that works says, hey, this is better than working the floor. What are you talking about? Like, you don't got to deal with all the animals upstairs. So just, do what you got to do. We get another quick scene where we see Evelyn and I guess some of the other attorneys and stuff with Mike. They're working all the paperwork out because the plan is he just has to sign this documentation. He will get out, and then in exchange, they're going to set things up for Frank. So then that way Evelyn gets her big fish pretty much, right? Because that's what she gets out of this whole thing. And I was like, okay, good, that's happening. We get Mike heads back to the prison, talks to Cindy, says, all right, what's going on? I need to talk to him. He doesn't want to talk to you. Doesn't matter. Right. So, and then, we get into this with Hobbs because then she obviously gives him permission to go to the cell block. And then he tells him, he's like, listen, I'm getting you out today. You just have to sign the paper. I can't leave. I get no. Now is not the time to give up. Yes, horrible what happened with Tracy, but you still got baby Mitch. Baby Mitch needs you. He says, I need you. We're all the family. We're the three amigos. This is it. This is the last of the bloodline. We need to stick together, and you can't die here. You got to get out, so it's going to happen. And so he says, all right, then he's going to do it, So that was it for that. And then that was cool because I'm still nervous. At that whole point, I was still nervous that he's not going to make it out. I was like, this is not going to happen. Not going to happen. But we do get that scene. And I think you had the image with Mike thanking Hobbs for this. And she's like, hey, you pulled it off. You did it. It's you definitely do have. I was waiting for, it's just me. I'm old. I come from the 80s. I was waiting for it to say, you got the juice now. Because he was able to pull all the strings, to get his brother out. And that's it. But she comes clean about a lot of stuff here. She was like, you probably think Torres pulled me in. He was like, no, but it was no, he was a good guy. He was loyal to me. And I brought him into this. This is my mess. This is something I've been dealing with. And I brought him in. And now look where they got him. And now they're not done. They want everybody that was involved. They want to know who saw it and this and that. And we know that means Kevin. Mm-hmm. They want to go through the whole the line, and then I'm out. And he's like, "Are you really out?" I was like, "No." But hey, this is my life. I chose this. What a surprise! That's a big reveal because I think for a long time, and a lot of people in the comments, we were all talking about it. It's like, they're blackmailing her. The Colombians got something on her. Even in the episode where she was beaten up in the tub, it was still sort of hinted about where we know where your family is, this and this and this and that. And it doesn't really seem to be the case. It looks like she did go into business with them, and this is part of the business. It's like, hey, you do some bad things, they will hurt you. You got to follow the process. And she doesn't even say it. She's like, hey, do you need any help? She's like, nope, this is my life. So very interesting character development there. I did not see that coming. We still have one more episode to go. So, later on in the episode, there was like the quick montage. I'll just bring it up here because it's the last time we bring up Hobbs. She does call out to her family and goes to voicemail, right? She's still trying to make sure they're okay, I guess. Her daughter or something like that.
Yeah.
But hey, that's her life. Were you surprised by that? Because I was under the impression that this was all, blackmail, pressure. We got you, Warden, and da da da. But no, it looks like she was in business with them, and this is just how it is.
Oh yeah, I figured it was blackmail too. So yeah, that was a bit surprising. It's not over yet though, because like you said, they still want to get everybody responsible for messing up that shipment. So I'm very curious to see what happens in the next episode. Whether they get to Kevin, or maybe they still may come after her. You never know. So
yeah. Well, and that's the thing, right? They might go after him. So then Mike goes back to see Frank. Okay, all right. Told you I do my part. I found out who did it. Right? They go. It was like a meeting outside type of thing. Very weird, awkward conversation here. He's like, "Oh, you found it? Yeah. You know him too. It's Lamar. Lamar. Oh, Bunny's guy. What? Is it? Cut it. We already know. You flipped them. Whoa, yeah, we all know the whole thing. You put the hit on Bunny, he messed up. Cut it out. It's like, let's just end this. But that's the guy who took out your guy. You want your payback? I said I would find the guy. I found it. There you go. Then we're done. All right. And I'm done with this. And he doesn't come clean. Frank, I was expecting to be like, he says, wait, how long have you been thinking like that? But he doesn't say, all right. And then even say his end game. We still have one more episode. He's still alive, Frank. So maybe we will find. I still want to know his end game.
I definitely want to know that also, and I will add because I've been watching the show with my brother while I've been here, and he also questions how does he know for sure that Frank is behind all this other stuff? Yeah, we know Lamar has been working with Frank. But we have not really I don't think we've gotten proof that Frank actually is trying to take everything that Bunny has. You saw them stop the shipments and all this other stuff, but and then of course they try to they organize the hit against Bunny, but he didn't really confess to that. He just said, "Oh, so Lamar is the one." So he just wants to get revenge on Lamar. So I was hoping we were going to get more into that. But I guess we just have to wait and see where the story goes.
He gets in. Mike gets in his car, calls Ian, says, "All right, we got the set in motion. This is it." Because he told Frank where Lamar is. He's gonna be home. That he's waiting for me. You show up. You do your thing. That's it. Let's end this. But he tells Mike, Ian and Stevie, you guys got to be there. It's all about timing. You got to get there, catch him in the act. He's gonna do this. You sure he's gonna do it? Yeah. This was his boy. This was his main guy. He is going to want revenge, and he's going to want to do it himself. Right? So they're like, okay, fine. This is where I got nervous also. I'm like, this is where they dropped the ball. I mean, we know they're kind of messy when it comes to actually doing police work, so it could go down. Now see if you can answer this, because I was a little confused. We were watching this. A van pulls up and grabs Lamar, right? So we're trying to figure this out. At first, we were like, oh, this is Frank's guys. They wised up. They found him. And this is going to disrupt the whole thing. But it wasn't the case. So was this Bunny's people that picked him up to tie him up to bring him back to the apartment?
No, I think it is. I think it is Frank's people, because they brought him right back to the same address where Frank pulled off the guy.
Yeah.
So I think it was his people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because then maybe that, I don't know. I thought this was going to be another little swerve. I was like, oh man, it's not smooth sailing. Something's going to happen. Somebody else intervened to disrupt the whole thing, and then there goes that. What else here? Oh, we see Merle. Right, this is the only time he pops up in the episode. He's in some kind of cafe somewhere eating some. Gets a call, and it's real brief. He says he's in far away. We never hear the voice on the other end, but clearly this person is telling them intel. And then he's like, "Okay, all right. Well, I'm gonna finish my breakfast," and he hangs up. So this is setting things in motion. He's not done yet, and I don't think anyone thought he would be done. But there goes that. I think there was another scene where Mike gets a call, finds out that Kyle did sign the paperwork. Right. So boom. Okay. He signed it. Now, remember, Hobbs agreed. That was the other thing with Mike was, hey, you got to escort him out. You got to get him. You walk him out. He doesn't trust anybody else. I was really surprised that maybe he would bring in Cindy, but I don't think Cindy's up that caliber, like, what I mean, like in the hierarchy of who can escort somebody out. I don't know, but maybe he doesn't want to get her that involved. and the whole situation. We get some, if there's any comedy or any relief, it actually happens in the scene with Mike and Bunny, right? At the hospital. Well, Bunny's looking for his sneakers and he's packing his bags and he was like, "Oh, this is a chick's bag." He's like, "No, it's not. It's a Louis Vuitton bag." And he's like, "Where's my stuff, man?" And he's like, "We're gonna
Yeah.
I want to make sure they don't." I've been in the hospital a bunch of times, man, a bunch of times. But I remember times where when it's time to leave, and yeah, I can't find stuff. It's like because they bag things up or they put things in a locker on the side, or if they've been moved to multiple rooms and they forget to take things out from one room to the other, you can lose stuff. But anyway, it was cool to see, and it just also shows their relationship that they have. And he told him the whole situation. He's like, "This is how this whole thing's playing out. This is how I get my brother out." But he also says, "Listen, it might be for the best if you get Kevin, cut him loose right now." Like, are you giving me order? No. I'm just saying this might be the best for him. So the question now for all you people, do you think Kevin makes it out alive of this show come next, the final episode? It's up in the air. I'm 50-50, man. I'm 50-50. What about you?
Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen. I think that character, the way they portrayed him this season, you definitely feel sorry for the character. You want to see him get out of this, but it doesn't feel like that's going to happen because this show is very dark. They like taking characters out, so I will not be surprised if he is taken out in the next episode.
Yeah. Very surprised. But then after that, we see a train and we see Frank standing next to the train. And I was like, "Oh man!" So this was Frank's people. He didn't go to the party. They picked him up. They probably put him on the track. They were gonna do something. You know what I mean? That's what I was thinking. I was like, "This is it. This is his MO, right?" That's what he did with the Russians. But no, he's standing there. He's looking at the trains. He looks at one of his guys. Said, "Give me the keys." He's like, "What? I need to go for a drive." And again, I'm a little surprised. Because if we go back thinking that it was Frank's guys that snatched up Lamar and brought him down there, then I guess not all of his guys know what's happening with plans. Because the guy was like, "Where you going?" "Oh, I need to go for a drive." "Oh, all right, well, here you go." It wasn't like, "Oh, you're going to go do the business." You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm curious to hear what the people have to say about that. I think there was Frank's people, but because this is such a personal thing that happened with LJ, he wanted to be the one to take him out. So, and I guess that's something that Mike knew. Mike knew because it was a personal thing. He wasn't going to resist the urge to take him out. But I think it's interesting how he knew exactly where he was going to take him out, all that stuff there, and it just worked perfectly.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely worked. But then we see Stevie, Ian there in the car, scoping out the apartment. They're waiting. They're like, "All right, when's this going to happen?" He's like, "I don't know. It's going to happen. We just got to be here." Sure enough, car shows up. "Is this Frank?" Yeah, sure. It's Frank. But Frank also has keys to the place, so he goes in and he goes down to the basement. And there's Lamar all tied up, and he gives this long speech. And Lenny James is a fantastic actor. He can deliver a line that doesn't even have any depth to it and just give it power. It's just, he's fantastic. And he delivers it here. He does his whole monologue about life, his friend, and how his friend was supposed to be grilling fish and living his life. And he was like, "I was never alone. Now I'm alone. I'm alone." I love it.
Oh no, yeah, it was a great scene. I will admit that I thought he was going to give Lamar last words. "You want to explain yourself before I take you out?" And I thought Lamar would have told him, "Yes, Mike is the one that ordered me to do this." But see, they didn't go in that direction.
No.
I thought it was going to go in that direction, but no, it didn't.
No, because his mouth's taped up and stuff. And I was like, well, it makes sense to tape up his mouth. You're gonna tie up a guy in a basement because then he starts screaming, making a whole big mess. So I get it. And then if Frank does cut him the last words, what's he gonna hear? A lot of screaming. right?
Yeah. Yep.
So he kicks the chair down. And I was like, maybe he won't do it. Maybe it's just going to be like, I'm going to let you die here. No one knows you're here. That's another form of torture. Just to tie somebody up like that and then just leave them in the basement that no one knows about. Oh man. But no, he just like unloads, like I love Ian. He's like, there's our cue. They get out of the car, Stevie, and they go running. And I was like, please don't mess us up. Please don't mess us up. And then sure enough, they catch him walking around. They're like, Frank, get on the ground. Like, what's in there? Who else is in there? It's Judas. Judas. He just starts going biblical, talking about all this stuff. But this is it. It's done. He finally got his hands dirty, right? From the beginning episode of the season, telling Bunny how he's never been arrested or anything because he doesn't get his hands dirty, right? He works behind the scenes. But this was it. This is something he had to do. That was his closest buddy. That wasn't just his partner in crime. No. This was a legit friend, a brother. They pointed out multiple times that they've seen all kinds of things together and we're still able to, stick by each other. Oh man, that was crazy. Right. So then now this is just when we're like, okay. All right, this is getting nuts, but it's coming down, right? We think it's calming down. Cindy is down on the cell block. She's trying to get things ready. And there's this one dude just playing with his feces, doing all kinds of nastiness, acting crazy, right? And they're like, okay, this is not good, right? So we're going to need some help here. So then they call Breen, and they're like, hey, Breen, you got to come down here with a mop, right? And we see him cleaning guns or doing whatever in the armory. And he's like, why do I have to do it? It's like that's part of, restrictive duty. You got to go. So he goes up there, sees the mess. He's just like, oh, this is horrible. But all the inmates are taunting him, right? They're yapping about, oh, you're cleaning the pool. Oh, look what you do. Oh, you should have finished high school. Oh, they just keep pressing him and pressing him. And then he just snaps and he's like, I'm done. I'm out. And then he leaves. Now, did you think he quit or did he think he was going to go to the armory?
Oh, no. Like you said earlier, I don't know whose decision it was to put him in the armory. I knew that's where he was going to go, though, because this guy is crazy, and when he snapped like that, you knew it was going to be sometimes. But of course, I didn't expect him to do all of the stuff that he did, but I did expect him to go back to that armory and maybe just take out the guy that was, because this is the same guy who he beat up in earlier episodes.
Yeah.
Cleaning up his mess. So I figured he would come back and take that guy out, but no, he went way above that. So, yeah.
We jump real quick to Mike and Evelyn. She's amazed that he was able to pull all this off. It's like, how did you do this? No one, FBI, nobody could get Frank. How did you do it? He said, I grabbed somebody that was closest to him. And I know what that can do to someone emotionally. It makes you snap. It makes you do the unthinkable. And he knows from his own experience with the whole thing with Mitch and all that and everything that's happening now in his life. And that was the key. The only person that could have caused Frank to snap is the loss of his friend. Was it LJ? I think it was LJ.
Yeah, LJ.
Yeah, LJ. That was his name, right? I just realized I haven't said his name. But it was interesting with it because we both talked about this when watching. We thought he would just walk away because the car shows up with Stevie and Ian and Frank. But no, he stands there, to show Frank that, I double-crossed you.
Yep.
I'm really surprised by that. I didn't see that part coming.
I see that. That's a very bold move for him to do that. And I believe if this show gets renewed for another season, which I think it will, now you have set up the whole thing that now Frank can be the one to come after Mike while he's on the inside. And obviously, Bunny is going to torture him on the inside. They're not going to kill him on the inside, but they're going to torture him on the inside. But he can still contact his people and say, yeah, you need to get this.
And that's it. That's what I'm saying. It's like hide in the shadows. They don't need to know Mike's involvement. Now, not only do you have Merle and all the drama with that, but now you got Frank's people that are out there. You got the lion's head, but you still got all the muscle and everything. And you know there's going to be somebody that wants the next power up. You know what I mean? That wants to move up the ladder. Who's like, you know what? We're making too much money out here doing whatever we do. You know what? I'm stepping up. But hey, it is what it is. But you know, it's been also kind of quiet, the whole Colombian situation. It's been kind of quiet. Like, yeah, Hobbs said they're gonna go down the line to find, but they haven't really made any moves on the outside after that. So just keep in mind on that. Right. So then we jump back and we see Breen and he heads over back to his the armory area and he grabs a shotgun and a bunch of shells. Oh man, can't believe it. Sure enough, he goes back to that cell block and they're still mouthing off and they're like, wait, what the hell? And he just starts blasting all of them in each cell. This was nuts. What a scene. What a scene. I mean, at this point, if there's a meter of just unexpected craziness for a type of show, that meter must be like, you know, like all the way to the top. No, this is crazy. This is crazy. And then you got Cindy calling for backup active shooter in the cell block and ad sack. This is out of control. You know, and he's going down each row and he's shooting. I'm like, oh no, this is it. You know, I thought this was it because then she goes running over and her hands are shaking. She's trying to open up the locker so she can get her weapon, you know, and he's going down. I was like, oh, he gets to the point he's about to get to Kyle. Kyle is just, you know, he's still in shock mode. He's not even reacting. It's like, is this, I mean, the trauma that this man is going to have. Okay, he's gonna need all kinds of meds and counseling. He's damaged. He is definitely damaged from the family loss to now all the stuff that happened to him in prison, and then this. You know, this is like what? This is so crazy. You know, but thankfully Cindy is able to put this dude down right before he pulls the trigger on Kyle, and there we go. Story of Breen.
Now, I think that Kyle would have welcomed that ending. This is why he stood up by the gate, like he was waiting for the guy to. But no, it didn't happen. And I obviously thought it was going to happen also. But yeah, it's a very chaotic scene, very crazy. And like I said, this is why this is a very dark show. But it makes sense because this character was due to have a type of breakdown. All the stuff that has happened in the past would happen in this season. You saw, so it made sense this was going to happen. Very crazy.
This was wild people, wild. Oh, what a show. Oh man. Then he jumps to a nice little the Doors montage. Really cool scene here. We see Kyle. He's getting out, walking out. That's great. Right. We see Hobbs. This is where she called her family, whatever. It goes to voicemail. We see Frank, he's in jail. There we go. We'll see what happens with him. We see Bunny is out and happy. That's great. You know, daybreak comes. It looks like it's a new day. You know, man, everything is gonna be fine. All right, so we think. So we got Kyle, Mike, Stevie, Ian, you know, and did I miss anybody? No, that's pretty much it. Over at the diner, right? They meet up, they're hugging, they're like, this is great. You know, things are gonna work out. But then Mike and Ian sit down for a little bit and say, we're gonna find him. You know, we're gonna find him. And it sounds like Mike is gonna go on a road trip looking for him himself. Because he was like, I'm gonna hit the road. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna start, you know, this is it. This has to get done. And then at the front, CV grabs a bag of food, says thank you. And he opens up the door and shots are just blaring, just shooting up the place. Oh man, you said it right. They're SWAT guy. They're just shooting up. Is Stevie gone? I hope not. I really hope not. You know, because he was right there, front and center at the door, and they just unload bullets on this diner. Swiss cheese. This is very reminiscent of many other scenes that we've seen in there. Remember, there was the beauty salon scene, Bunny's cousin and stuff. We've seen big shootouts, you know, over at the Russian bar and stuff. But yeah, this was one of their spots. They had two spots, right? They had the diner and then they also have the police bar that they go to. Right. So this one, to see it like this and the shootout and that final scene is just quiet. It's just nothing. They just unloaded clips into this place. Who survived? Who survived? And that was it. So what do you think? What do you think, Rich? What do you think, people? Who survived? I really hope Stevie survives. I say the lady, the lady at the front, the cashier, she's gone. I'm thinking she's gone. She was standing there. I think she's gone. Ian, he was in the back. So I'm assuming he laid low. Kyle laid low. I can't imagine Mike getting shot, or even then people like, well, he can get shot. He can get shot, but then that'll take him off the board for a while because then he'll have to go to hospital treatment. Also, I don't see that. My whole thing is I think the lady that works there, she's gone from the board, and I really hope that Stevie is just hurt. He definitely got shot, no doubt. The dude got shot, but he's one of my favorite characters on this show. I don't want him to go. Not like this. Very sad though. Very sad if it does go down there. So, what did you think?
Oh yeah. Well, I think Stevie. He is definitely wounded. I don't think that he's dead. But it's a very chaotic situation because clearly they are outmanned and they're stuck in that diner. So it makes you wonder how they're going to get out of this one. And like you mentioned earlier, the people that are doing the attack are wearing the SWAT gear. You said you believe this is Merrill because the call that he made earlier, now that he knows that Kyle is out, okay, now he wants to finish the job. That makes a lot of sense to me. I thought about the Colombians because we haven't seen them in a little while, but the guy who was working for that Colombians, he loves that diner, so I don't think he's going to be trying to
exactly. That was his favorite spot.
Yeah, so it makes sense for it to be Merrill's people, but we have to see obviously what happens in the finale. But that's a good way to put a lot of suspense going into the finale. It makes you wonder how are they going to get out of this situation.
Because if it's not, all right, I'm scratching the Colombians off regarding this hit. So I know I'm thinking it's definitely Merrill, because then that makes sense with the call that he received. There's probably someone giving a heads up about Kyle getting out. And it was like, all right, we're going to tail him. We'll see where he goes. Well, they saw where he went. Perfect timing. He's with his brother and with the two shady cops. Easy peasy, right? Let's just do this. Makes sense. Or, as we know, Frank just got busted.
Yeah.
What if one of Frank's crews, we don't know if he's allowed to call. What if he made a call to one of his lawyers who told one of his second in command the whole thing? It's like, yeah, Mike double crossed me. Find him. So they were tailing Mike, not so much Kyle, Mike. And then they found that it was like, oh, we see he's going into a diner with some other guys. All right, take him out. So my theory is either Merrill's guys or Frank's guys. What say you people? Put it in the comments. But this was a wild episode. I loved it. It's dark, it's depressing, but man, it's good TV. It's good TV. This is what you want. People, they always talk about, second screen experience. Everybody's always on their phones. No. When a show is this good and it pulls you in, you chuck this shit in the back. You don't need to look at your phone. You know what I mean? It's like you're engaged in what you're watching. It's so good. It's so good. And I love it. And here it is. Yeah, it's a fourth season. But like, how much chaos can happen? Just when you think you know it all, you don't. Most of what's happened this season, I could have not predicted. And the stuff that I did predict, I was straight up wrong. The whole thing with Hobbs, right? We're like, oh, we're gonna find out she's gonna help, Mike, and then they're gonna work. Nope. She's crooked. That's it. That's how this works. The whole thing with Tracy, could have never saw that coming either. But it happened. But hey, it is what it is. But hey, everybody, thank you for sticking with us. Thank Rich. Let's all thank Rich. Rich is out. It's a holiday time. We got all these shows, and he's out there spending time with family, and we're trying to get things done. But we want to get this done. We got 2 episodes to get the series, and this is a fantastic show. And we're up early getting this done for you guys. So continue, like, subscribe, click the hype. That's a funny word. I'm still trying to figure that hype out. What the hell is it? Man, YouTube, what are you doing? But thank all of you. We love you guys. Thank you all covering all these shows. We've also covering Fallout. That's another fantastic show. I'm covering my buddy Ken. Dude is a aficionado for Fallout stuff. He lives in Fallout 76, lives in that world. So it's like the stuff that he says rattling off. I remember this thing. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? But you know what? It makes for a good show, because then he'll fill in the blanks for things that you didn't even think were blanks. So it's good. And we just recorded Landman, and that should be up also. All right, everybody. Thank you. We'll talk to you next week for the finale. Peace.